All right, Algebra 1. This is the moment you've all been waiting for. This is the last section of the year, not only in Chapter 10, but this is the last note section of the entire school year. 10.5C, midpoints. Again, this is another one of those that's going to be a good lead into next year when you go into geometry. Um, and I was going to help you out there. So we're going to find midpoints now. Midpoint is if you're on the number line, it's pretty simple. It's the coordinate of the midpoint, whose coordinates are A and B. So you're looking at the point between those two. So if you had, say, point A right here and point B right here, your midpoint would be somewhere in the middle, directly in the middle. It's kind of just like what it says. That is your midpoint between A and B. Okay, so if you look over quickly at this example, find the midpoint of B and F. Well, here's B over here, and here's F right here. So what it says we can do is this formula up here. On a number line, we just go A plus B divided by 2. So similar to your distance on a midline, but we subtracted those and took the absolute value. Now we're just going to add them up. So your B value, like we said right here, was -6. So you're going to take that. And your F value over here was a 5. So here you're going to add it to 5. -6 plus 5 divided by 2. And when we add that up, -6 plus 5 is a -1. And then divide that by 2 is -1/2. So your midpoint would be at -1/2 right in here would be your midpoint. Okay? And that's easy enough on the number line. Okay, what about if we do talk about an ordered pair, midpoint on a coordinate plane with ordered pairs? So this is the coordinates of the midpoint, whose coordinates are x1, y1, and x2, y2. Kind of like distance formula. You got 2 points. Give them an x1, y1 value. Give them an x2, y2 value. And then use this formula here to okay, I guess it's not going to show up for me. So then use this formula here. So the midpoint of x comma y. And the reason we do that, let's just show you that, x comma y, that's going to tell you that it's an ordered pair and that you should use this formula. Okay, it just kind of shows you that here. So it's an ordered pair. Your formula here now is going to be kind of similar to the number line one. You're going to take your x's and add them up, divide it by 2. Then you're going to take your y's and add those up and divide by 2. And together, that's the midpoint. Okay, so now it's just kind of doing it twice. So look at the example over here. If we were to take a look at this, we're going to say at A is at 5, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, up 2. That's good. And B is at -3, 2, 3, up 1, 2, 3, 4. There you go. So we call this A and this B. If we were to graph that line, just simply just connect those dots here, we'd try to find the midpoint. Okay, so now let's take a look at those coordinates and just say this first one, we've got 5, 2, so that's your first point. So we're going to say x1, y1 here, and your other one over here, -3, 4, would be your second point, so x2, y2. And now we can just plug those in the formula here. So your first part says x1 plus x2, so my first x is 5. My second x is a -3, so remember that's a minus a -3, excuse me, plus a -3 divided by 2. And then now your y coordinates, your first y coordinate is a 2. Your second one is a 4, so 2 plus 4 divided by 2. And now we can just do the math and get our midpoint. So on the first one, we've got 5 plus a -3 is 2, divided by 2 is 1. So we'll call it M here. So the first point again is 1. 5 plus a -3 is 2, divided by 2 is 1. Your second point, 2 plus 4 is 6, divided by 2 is 3. So your midpoint would be 1, 3. So if you look at this point, 1, up 1, 1, 2, 3, your midpoint would be right in here, right in the middle of line AB. Okay? So that's basically it for midpoints. Let's do some examples here. Let's skip over to number 4 here. Sure. This one's on a midpoint of each segment, so it's on a number line. There's only 2 values given to you, so we're going to use this, a plus b divided by 2. And so that would be simply negative 12 plus 16 divided by 2, which would end up being negative 12 plus 16 is 4. Divided by 2 is 2. So it'd be simple as that to get your answer there. And then let's go ahead and do one with the coordinates. How about number 5 here? Good. So now it says coordinates, so we're going to use the other formula. So we're going to have to use this one, midpoint of x comma y. And again, I just do that just to show you that, hey, this is a coordinate. We're using ordered pairs here. So in this case, we're going to use this one, x1 plus x2 divided by 2, and then the y coordinate, y1 plus y2 divided by 2. What are my coordinates? Again, up here, this is my x1, y1 for my first point, and here's my x, y of my second point. So I can plug those in and solve. So here, my x's, I'm going to go 8 plus a negative 14 divided by 2, and then my y's, negative 6 plus 12 divided by 2. And together, that should give me an ordered pair with a midpoint. And let's check that out. 8 plus a negative 14 is a negative 6. Divided by 2 would give me a negative 3. And then on the other side for my y's, negative 6 plus 12 is positive 6. Divided by 2 is a positive 3. So negative 3, positive 3 would be my midpoint. All right, that does it. Let's get to the lesson summary then. Our lesson summary is what is the formula for finding midpoint on a coordinate plane. So this is the one where we're talking about x comma y, ordered pairs. What's that formula? And then the problem here is going to be find the midpoint of 3, negative 5, and 5, negative 2. Okay, that's it. Simple as that for midpoints. And for your questions, hope you enjoyed it. All right, talk to you later.